Judge Beatrice Thornwald's gavel thundered through Courtroom 2 of the Iowa City Federal Building. Court is now in session. Case number 2025 CV Wesu 76, HoopTech Dynamics versus Clark One Performance. Ms. Clark, you may proceed representing yourself. After 30 years on the bench, she'd presided over disputes from Fortune 500 boardrooms to plagiarism fights, but never watched a collegiate and WNBA star step into the well of federal court without an attorney. Caitlin Clark rose from the front row, the crisp lines of her navy blazer carrying both confidence and intensity. No tie, just a delicate CC1 Labs lapel pin shining under the courtroom lights. At 23, she was renowned for buzzer-beating threes, not legal filings. In one hand, she cradled a stack of prototype schematics. In the others, a binder labeled Exhibit A, SmartCourt AR Glasses, rubber-stamped in bright blue. A hush rippled through the packed gallery as cameras clicked. "Good morning, Your Honor," she said, voice clear and steady. "I'm here because HoopTech stole my patented augmented reality training glasses design. Plain and simple." A light murmur drifted among the spectators. Even the court reporter paused her stenograph. Judge Thornwald's brow lifted. "Ms. Clark, this is not a free throw drill. Do you have your exhibits organized?" Caitlin set her binder on the podium and squared her shoulders. "Yes, Your Honor. We're ready." At the plaintiff's table, HoopTech's lead counsel, Meredith Reeves, straightened her tailored charcoal suit and rose. She clicked a remote. A high-definition timeline flashed on the screen behind her. June 2022. HoopTech R&D Phase 1, prototype number HTX1. June 22. Clark One Labs private demo of SmartCourt AR Glasses to selected coaches. Feb 2023. HoopTech falsifies patent US 12 and 345 and 678 for Rebound Vision AR. June 23. Clark One Labs public showcase at Wells Fargo Arena. Reeves began, "Your Honor, members of the court, this dispute is straightforward. Ms. Clark's SmartCourt AR Glasses monitor shot arc, foot positioning, and release timing via integrated micro-optics and edge AI. Yet HoopTech's 1N Rebound Vision AR uses an identical lens array, the same fiducial marker recognition algorithm, and mirror image user interface. Our patent predates Ms. Clark's public demonstration. We have lab notebooks, supply chain invoices for AR lenses in late 2021, and engineer affidavits to prove independent invention." Judge Thornwald nodded. "Thank you, Ms. Reeves." "Ms. Clark, your opening statement." Caitlin stepped to the lectern, placing her schematics side by side with HoopTech's patent drawings. "Your Honor, I led a team of developers through 2 years of R&D at Clark One Labs, perfecting a low-profile AR display that overlays real-time shooting analytics directly on the court. We unveiled a working prototype to college coaches in June 2022 under strict NDA. 2 months later, HoopTech files for Rebound Vision, a device that replicates our entire optical stack and data fusion pipeline. Today, I'll present private demo footage, lab access logs, and cross-reference code snippets to prove misappropriation." A ripple of amusement passed through the courtroom when a heavily annotated diagram tumbled from Caitlin's binder. Without hesitation, she bent to pick it up, nodded to the clerk, and continued. "May I organize these exhibits, Your Honor?" Judge Thornwald's lips curved in a professional half-smile. "Proceed, but be concise." Reeves interjected. "Your Honor, I move to strike Ms. Clark's disorganized submission. Patent litigation requires precision. Has she considered retaining counsel?" Caitlin looked Reeves directly in the eye. "Thank you, Ms. Reeves, but I'll represent myself. I know this technology inside and out." Judge Thornwald suppressed another smile. "Very well. Ms. Reeves, you may continue." Reeves resumed her presentation, guiding the court through slide after slide. Storm-tested hardware logs, chain of custody records for AR lens components, sworn statements from HoopTech engineers, each point reinforcing independent development. Caitlin sat in silence, furiously jotting notes in her binder. her gaze occasionally drifting to a blank corner of the courtroom wall as though mapping her comeback. Midway through the morning, Judge Thornwald glanced at her watch. "We'll take a short recess." The courtroom emptied as spectators murmured. Caitlin gathered her exhibits, slipping the prototype schematics into a protective sleeve. Outside the courtroom in the hushed corridor, her chief engineer and co-founder, Layla Chen, met her with a worried look. "Caitlin, they've framed an airtight case." Caitlin met her partner's eyes, resolve kindling. "Let them think they've shot the winner. Tomorrow, we rebound." 6 months earlier, in a converted storage bay behind the University of Iowa practice facility, Caitlin and Layla hovered over a glass-topped workbench. Rings of LED projectors glowed around their prototype. SmartCourt AR Glasses, wired to a modular compute pack. A laptop displayed live feed, an overlay of shot arc tracing and release timing histograms. Layla tapped her tablet. "Our real-time ballistic solver is hitting 97% accuracy in field tests. Unheard of." Caitlin adjusted the frame. "If we deploy this at scale, coaches can correct form instantly, reduce turnover, change player development forever." She paused. "Scheduled a private demo in 2 days." Unbeknownst to them, a HoopTech executive quietly observed from a corner as Caitlin launched 3 successive mid-range jumpers. An assistant used a smartphone to record every detail of the lens fiducials and firmware interface. Back in the courtroom, Meredith Reeves clicked to a video clip dated R6/15/2022, a leaked feed from Clark 1 Labs' secure door camera showing a HoopTech assistant slipping a smartphone through a gap in the door. The gallery murmured. Judge Thornwald leaned forward. Reeves clicked to a chart. No record of AR lens procurement from Clark 1 before Jan 2023. It seemed airtight. Then the judge called recess for lunch. Caitlin exhaled, stepping into the hallway. Layla pressed a tablet into her hand. Fresh security log exports from their lab. Caitlin's eyes narrowed with determination. "Phase 2 starts tomorrow," she whispered. And with that, the stage was set for the dramatic second act, where Caitlin Clark's Pro-C strategy would attempt to rewrite HoopTech's seemingly flawless narrative. The courtroom buzzed as Judge Thornwald returned from recess. "We are back in session. Ms. Clark, you may call your first witness." Caitlin Clark rose confidently. "Thank you, Your Honor. I call Dr. Maya Peterson." A ripple of surprise passed through the gallery. Dr. Peterson, HoopTech's former head of AR software, had not appeared on any pretrial list. Meredith Reeves leapt to her feet. "Objection, Your Honor. This is late disclosure under Rule 26. Judge Thornwald fixed Reeves with a steely look. "Ms. Reeves, state your grounds." Reeves replied, "Judge Peterson's testimony involves proprietary HoopTech source code and algorithms. Her contract forbids such disclosures." Caitlin stepped forward. "Your Honor, under the whistleblower clause of federal IP law, Dr. Peterson may testify about unlawful corporate conduct. She approaches voluntarily to expose misappropriation." After a long pause, Judge Thornwald nodded. "Very well. Dr. Peterson's testimony is allowed." Call the witness. Dr. Maya Peterson, mid-30s and composed in a midnight blue suit, took the stand and was sworn in. Caitlin approached the lectern. "Dr. Peterson, what was your role at HoopTech?" "I led AR software development for Stride Vision from February 2022 to November 2023, Peterson answered steadily. Caitlin clicked her remote. "On September 5th, 2023, did you attend a closed-door demo of our SmartCourt AR Glasses?" A still frame appeared. HoopTech engineers crowded discreetly around a projection of Caitlin's interface. Peterson's eyes dimmed. "Yes, shortly after, I saw an assistant discreetly photograph the interface code on a whiteboard. Then Mr. Green instructed us, rebuild her UI and algorithms before her patent grant." Reeves leapt up. "Objection! Hearsay!" Judge Thornwald pounded her gavel. "Sustained as to hearsay, but Dr. Peterson's first-hand observations are admitted." Reeves sank back. Caitlin gave a nod to Layla Chen, who wheeled in a laptop. The feed switched to grainy security footage labeled 09/05/2023-14/12/07. An assistant's phone camera capturing Caitlin's whiteboard notes. Then Victor Green peering in approval. Reeves's composure cracked. "Your Honor," Caitlin said calmly, "this video is direct evidence of unauthorized access and willful misappropriation. Dr. Peterson, were you ever directed to integrate our proprietary code into Stride Vision?" Peterson swallowed. "Yes, we received an email from engineering management attaching screenshots of your code. The message read, 'Use this to guide our next firmware release.'" Caitlin turned to the clerk. "Your Honor, I request these emails be admitted." Judge Thornwald examined the on-screen messages, timestamped 09/07/2023, and sent from a HoopTech executive's address, and nodded. "Admitted." Reeves sat, stunned. Caitlin allowed a brief nod of thanks, then called her next witness. "Your Honor, I call Mr. Jake Turner." Jake Turner, HoopTech's former lead UI/UX designer, approached with uncertainty. Caitlin displayed two screenshots, SmartCourt's interface and Stride Vision's nearly identical dashboard. "Mr. Turner," Caitlin asked, "when did you design the Stride Vision UI?" He glanced at the images. "After our team received Ms. Clark's whiteboard photos." Caitlin expanded the view, highlighting matching button layouts, color gradients, and chart formats. Reeves's pinstripe suit seemed to shrink. Next, Reeves called Dr. Elena Ruiz, HoopTech's head of hardware validation, to rebut claims of code copying. Dr. Ruiz took the stand and testified that HoopTech's MEMS-based optical stack was developed independently in 2021. Caitlin rose for cross-examination. "Dr. Ruiz, did your team ever perform comparative analysis with SmartCourt's firmware logs?" Dr. Ruiz hesitated. "We compared performance benchmarks but did not access raw logs." Caitlin leaned in, voice steady. "Did you receive internal reports referencing AE1's lab test data?" She held up Material Exhibit H, an internal memo compiling SmartCourt latency figures under the heading, "Benchmark our firmware against Clark 1 data." Dr. Ruiz's composure wavered. "Yes, we used those figures to validate Stride Vision." The judge allowed the memo into evidence over Reeves's objections. The courtroom thrummed with energy as Reeves sank further into her seat and Green's confident posture collapsed. Judge Thornwald glanced at her watch. "We will take a brief recess. Upon return, we will proceed to closing arguments." As spectators filed out, Caitlin and Layla exchanged determined looks. In the hallway annex, Layla tapped her tablet. Kyle Benson's whistleblower testimony and our code logs turned the tide. "Tomorrow we finish this." Caitlin slipped the tablet into her binder. Phase 2 delivered. Phase 3 starts at 9 a.m. sharp. With that, the stage was set for the final act, where Caitlin Clark's pro-se strategy would aim for the ultimate legal buzzer beater. The courtroom fell silent as Judge Thornwald rapped her gavel. "We will now hear closing arguments. Ms. Reeves, you may proceed." Meredith Reeves rose with practiced poise. "Your Honor, the evidence presented by Ms. Clark is dramatic, but similarity alone does not prove misappropriation. Parallel development of AR training tools is common. Engineers often solve the same biomechanical challenges with similar solutions. HoopTech Dynamics began R&D on its Rebound Vision AR glasses in early 2022, predating Ms. Clark's demo. We ask the court to uphold patent number 12,345,678 and deny the requested remedies that would stifle competition in sports technology." She returned to her seat, unwavering even as her confidence wavered. Judge Thornwald nodded, then turned to Caitlin Clark. "Ms. Clark, your closing statement." Caitlin Clark stood, steady and resolute. "Your Honor, this case isn't about innocent convergence. It's about deliberate corporate espionage. My team and I spent over 2 years crafting the SmartCourt AR Glasses, a custom micro-optic array, edge AI shot analysis engine, and real-time HUD overlay. We demonstrated a working prototype under strict NDA to select coaches in June 2022. 2 months later, HoopTech's insiders covertly photographed our whiteboard specs and proprietary code. They then launched Rebound Vision, replicating our optical design, firmware, and user interface. She let that sink in before placing her exhibits on the podium. "We've shown you security cam footage of unauthorized photography. whistleblower testimony from Dr. Maya Peterson, design admissions by Jake Turner, and internal memos directing code replication. This is not coincidence. It's theft. I respectfully ask the court to, Gender 1, invalidate HoopTech's patent number 12,345,678. 2. Award Clark 1 Performance $20 million in damages and punitive relief. 3. Enjoined Rebound Vision and any substantially similar AR sports tech products under the Sports Innovation Safeguard Law for 5 years. 4. Refer this matter to the Department of Justice for criminal investigation into corporate espionage. She stepped back, nodding to Judge Thornwald. A hush enveloped the room. The judge allowed a pregnant pause before speaking. I have carefully reviewed all testimony, video evidence, and documentary exhibits. The court finds clear and convincing evidence that HoopTech Dynamics engaged in willful misappropriation of proprietary technology belonging to Clark 1 Performance. Accordingly, patent number 12,345,678 is hereby invalidated. $20,000 in damages is awarded to Clark 1 Performance. Pursuant to the Sports Innovation Safeguard Law, HoopTech Dynamics is enjoined from manufacturing, marketing, or licensing any AR sports tech product substantially similar to SmartCourt AR Glasses for 5 years from today's date. This case is referred to the U.S. Attorney's Office for possible criminal charges of industrial espionage and conspiracy to infringe patent rights. Court is adjourned. With a final rap of the gavel, the courtroom erupted in murmurs. Reeves sank in her seat, and HoopTech's executives exchanged stunned glances. Caitlin allowed herself a small, triumphant smile. Outside the Iowa City Federal Building, reporters jostled for position. Flashbulbs popped. "Ms. Clark, how does it feel to win?" one shouted. Caitlin raised her hand for quiet. "Let this ruling remind everyone, protect your work, stand your ground, and let justice prevail." She turned to her partner, Layla Chen. "Let's get back to the lab." Cameras captured her confident stride as she disappeared into the milling crowd. 2 months later at Clark 1 Performance's new headquarters overlooking the Iowa River, staff gathered under a banner reading, "Innovation Secured." Engineers sipped cider beneath projected telemetry graphs from SmartCourt AR testing. In a glass-walled conference room, Judge Beatrice Thornwald, now dressed in business attire, her judicial robe folded neatly, waited by a polished table. Caitlin entered, removing her blazer to reveal a C1 Labs polo beneath. "Beatrice," Caitlin greeted, extending her hand. "Caitlin," the judge replied warmly, shaking her hand firmly, "I've reviewed your proposal. I'm honored to join Clark 1 Performance as Senior Legal and Ethics Advisor." They sealed their partnership with a handshake as the staff applauded. Two trailblazers united to protect creativity in sports technology. From a bold pro se stand in federal court to a landmark verdict reshaping AR sports tech law, Caitlin Clark's strategic brilliance and Judge Thornwald's unwavering integrity proved that true champions defend not only their game on the court, but the very innovation that drives it. Thanks for watching this incredible legal showdown where Caitlin Clark's pro se defense took on a corporate giant and won. If you enjoyed witnessing her courtroom slam dunk, please hit subscribe and ring this so you never miss our deep dives into sports tech battles and innovation triumphs. Drop your thoughts in the comments, give us a yay, and share this video with friends who love basketball, tech, or courtroom drama. See you in the next video.